It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams on this August 29th, 2025. This Friday morning, we are looking at some rain moving into the area, but unlike 20 years ago, the rain we're seeing today is not caused by a hurricane. And we're actually going to see some rain chances continue into the holiday weekend, and I'm monitoring a risk of flooding in some places too. Let's take you right to the maps in regards to the rain potential over not just today, but into the next 7 days. What we find here is the rainiest day being today. So it's very easy to see with that blue color everywhere and even a little bit of purple color, indicating most of us getting around an inch of rain, and in some spots getting more than that in southern Mississippi on a Friday into parts of Friday night. Now we go to tomorrow and look closely. Where do you find the blue on this map? Is it to our north or is it to our south? It's south of us. So that's the general thinking. From today into tomorrow, the majority of the heaviest rains should eventually shove offshore. And that's how we can get to some generally lower rain chances from Saturday into Sunday into parts of Labor Day Monday. But as far as today is concerned, still seeing a likely round of showers in some places at times, especially this morning. That's when we have the highest confidence for rain. Then the confidence decreases a little bit heading into later today. Will most of the rain already move offshore by this afternoon and this evening? That's what some of our models are indicating, but not all. So that's why there's that uncertainty for later today, even though there's a bit more confidence for the first part of the day, because we don't need a model to see the rain on radar in the Pine Belt moving our way Friday morning. And it's pretty likely that multiple counties in South Mississippi, 6 of the most counties, will get that. Now, even though the rain kind of iffy later today, eventually we'll see the chances decreasing into the upcoming weekend. So if you're trying to figure out as you're waking up, do I need the umbrella today? Do I not want to take the umbrella today? Well, the umbrella index helping you to answer that question. It's in the red category today with that 70% chance. So you'll likely need your rain gear with you, but you might not need it the whole day. We are expecting widespread rain showers. There's a look at the hour-by-hour outlook for our forecast today, and you will notice that the first part of the day has that higher chance, 70%, pretty much anytime your clock says AM today. And then 50% anytime your clock says PM today. So there's not a lot of nuance there. I'm sure that some places might get rained on, some might not, but in general, that's what we're looking at for rain potential. I haven't talked a lot about temperatures today because rain is really the focus since it could impact your plans. But if you do take a brief look at the temperatures, you can see that it's really comfortable. We won't be anywhere near 90 degrees today, that is for sure. Some places might barely even hit 80 today, so one of the coolest afternoons, relatively speaking, in a while because of all the rain clouds hanging around. So there's a look at this morning's map showing widespread rain coverage. You can see those 70% rain chances for all of our South Mississippi locations. Some of the rain could be heavy enough to cause flooding, so don't be caught off guard by that. Now, what you're looking at, that color there, the green color on the map behind those rain chance numbers, that's actually raw model data indicating the aerial coverage, aerial extent, how much area on the map is going to be covered by rain around that time, around this time, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. So you're looking at a lot of green on the map. But take note of how much of the map is covered in green this morning, and watch what happens when we switch to this afternoon. Okay, there's still some green there, but it's not as much. So we're expecting fewer showers later today. Does this mean everyone will be completely dry and there won't be any rain at all? I don't think so. I think there will still be a few showers and storms. Right now, the modeling showing Stone County could be, one of those places that get targeted for some of the Friday PM showers and storms. You might also see some of that in northern Pearl River County. That's where we see the kind of thickest, most concentrated green color on the map, indicating multi-model agreement on the placement and timing of the rain there. Now it's a bit iffier everywhere else. You can see kind of this just very sort of faint green color elsewhere, indicating, a lower rain potential. So, if we wanted to get really fine-tuned with those rain chances, maybe we'd throw a 60% at 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. for Stone County, and throw a 40% for other places that are away from Stone County. But I don't think the way that the models are today, you don't want to get that cute with it. You don't want to get that specific, that precise with it, because some of the modeling is struggling to even tell what's happening with the rain right now. It's getting the placement of the current rain wrong. So I wouldn't get that precise with the model data heading into later today. Tomorrow, same thing. You can look at this map and try to get precise if you want, like, ooh, no rain in Van Cleve at 1, but oh, some rain in Saussure at 1. I wouldn't get that precise with it. Just in general, understand that out of our 6 counties, there's several counties with green on them. So there will probably be at least a few, either hit or miss, or some scattered showers and storms at times tomorrow. But I suspect a lot of the activity could wind up being offshore. In fact, if you just kind of look at that, you can see the most of it, not really to the north of us. Most of it is either east of us or probably to the south of us. Now, regarding the heavy rain potential that could cause flooding, the Weather Prediction Center has highlighted this area in green and yellow on the map for risk of flooding rain today. Now, yesterday we had a level 1 risk, but today they're up in the ante. It's a level 2. And earlier this morning, Bay St. Louis was under a flash flood warning around midnight in the morning. There's also been a flash flood warning at the state capital city, Jackson, as well. So that's at least 2 flash flood warnings that have happened somewhere in that yellow zone. Maybe there will be more of them at some point later Friday. That's why we watch this risk zone, as we could be the target area for some of those heavier downpours that could cause flooding. Any one of our 6 southernmost counties, you could see it happen in your neighborhood later today. Your street that your house or business is on could undergo some, at least temporary, rain flooding. So don't be surprised by that if your city is put under a flash flood warning or some other type of flood alert, maybe a flood advisory at some point on Friday. I suspect it's primarily going to be a morning concern. Maybe it's a little bit less later today based on the current information, but just understand 1 to 3 inches of rain, it's a possibility in and around South Mississippi. And so anytime you have that heavy rain, that's something you got to watch out for. So I knew that since this video is, some of you are watching with me live right now, but many of you might wind up watching on replay. I wanted to front load the video with a lot of forecast information and then kind of just quickly touch on what's happening currently toward the end of the video, since this is going to be outdated and will no longer be valid once you're watching later today, if you're watching this on replay. So anyway, what we're finding during the 7 o'clock hour on First Alert Radar, large area of rain that has developed near Macomb, near Hattiesburg. It is continuing to move down toward the south and east. So looks pretty likely that this is obviously going to hit into Pearl River, Stone, and George counties like it already is. But will it make it all the way down toward Hancock, Harrison, and Jackson counties? Most of our modeling indicates the answer to that question is yes. But this is all a part of a very weak kind of front. You can see the analysis from the Weather Prediction Center actually highlights the frontal position right about there. So if we pause this, I can draw that front along the coast this morning. So the rain that we are seeing isn't even rain that's south of a front. If it were out in this vicinity, it would have a bit more energy to create more thunderstorms. That's why a lot of the activity you're seeing on the map might not have a ton of lightning, but there is some area of lightning over Louisiana into areas near Macomb, Mississippi. But to the north of a front, you usually don't have as much thunderstorm energy to create like severe weather. That's usually to the south of a frontal boundary. But the idea here is, as we go from Friday into Saturday and Sunday, this entire frontal boundary is going to eventually sag south. Now, I know a stationary front is not really supposed to move, but sometimes they do kind of just meander very slowly, and that's the general idea over the next 72 hours. Maybe that stationary front slowly meanders out into the Gulf. Here's one computer model that has been really keying in on this consistently, this kind of scenario that takes all of this rain that is over Louisiana, Mississippi. By the way, it's if we rewind this to the current time, 7:30, understand how wrong it's getting the representation of the rain. So this is what I was talking about. If we pause this radar, the actual radar right now as of 7:51 a.m., there's not much heavy rain over Hancock, Harrison, and Jackson counties. The heavy rain is mainly just to the north of that. But if we take a look at the computer model for the current time, let me make sure I'm right down to the minute, 7:51 a.m. That's about right here. Look how wrong that placement is. It has the heavy downpours already hitting Gulfport, Biloxi. So this is what I'm talking about. Try not to get lost in the models of it all, because sometimes these models perform poorly, getting the actual placement of the rain wrong now. So how can we trust it to tell us the future placement of the rain if it can't even tell where the current rain is right now? So, you know, as a meteorologist, I tend to, whenever the models are performing this way, I just stick with the radar tools and use radar estimated times of arrival and such. But I'm just showing this right now to show you the general picture over the next 72 hours that this model has really just hammered home. It does not want to let go of this scenario of taking all of this rain and shoving it offshore eventually over the next 72 hours. So watch where it goes from today. You see it sagging south, and then we can take a look at tomorrow for Saturday. Where's the rain by Saturday morning? Is it on the Mississippi coast? Not really. It's instead a little bit more to our south. So all that rain that's in the Pine Belt this morning might already be offshore by Saturday morning. And where does it go by then? It's just going to keep moving offshore into the Gulf. So we take a look at Saturday afternoon. There's all of the rain that's in the Pine Belt this morning. It's offshore in the Gulf Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening, where's all the rain, is still out in this vicinity here. And note that there's not much rain happening locally. And, you know, this one scenario where we're just so dry, it's kind of like an outlier. Every time we check a different model other than this one, it continues to kind of paint a different picture. Here's one example of that, where we'll take a look at tomorrow for Saturday. The model we were just showing you is the GRAF model. So that is that one at the bottom. This breaks down, I'll show this full screen. This breaks down your Saturday into three parts: Saturday morning, Saturday midday, Saturday evening and night. And there's the one that we just showed you, that the model scenario in which all of the rain just shoves offshore into the Gulf for Saturday. So that's how we could have a dry Saturday morning, a dry Saturday midday, and a mostly dry Saturday evening. But not every model in agreement with that. There's a different model, the HRRR model. And so this scenario, it's pretty wet on Saturday morning, still seeing some scattered showers and storms Saturday midday, and then finally seeing a decrease by the time we get to Saturday evening. So that, you know, if you have some Saturday plans, we talked about this yesterday's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. The models were still showing this kind of split. And Saturday morning, you do want to plan for there to possibly be some rain around in case this GRAF model is wrong. So plan on there being at least some rain hanging around for Saturday morning, but then eventually trending to less by the time we get to Saturday evening. And that model trend is still looking pretty good for Sunday into Labor Day Monday. You take a look at this information for your Sunday, and models are beginning to come into better agreement with there being a lower rain potential. Maybe by then, most of that rain might begin to move offshore, but Saturday might be a little bit too early for that. And for Labor Day Monday, you're also seeing that trend continue as we pop up those computer models too. Now, these are global models, so sometimes they are overdoing it, but in general, you can see again pretty limited rain potential for Monday too. So if this trend that is beginning to show up continues, then you might find when you check our 7-day forecast in the coming days, maybe that rain chance for Sunday as well as for Labor Day Monday might wind up coming down a little bit more. Today they're showing 30%, but maybe if you check again tonight, or maybe if you check again over the weekend, maybe that Sunday and Labor Day Monday chance might come down to 20%, maybe down to 10%, as long as these trends continue to show up in the modeling. But as far as for Friday And as far as for Saturday morning, if you have any plans to be out and about, you do want to have the rain gear with you, as you're probably going to see some rain somewhere in South Mississippi around that time. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this Friday edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. I hope that as we remember the storm that impacted our area 20 years ago today, that you will find peace in the knowledge that we don't have to go through that again today in 2025's version of August 29th. And also find hope in the way that the coast has recovered over the last 20 years from that devastating disaster that changed the lives of many of us. All right, well, that'll do it for this Friday, and I'll see you again next time. Till then, take care.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.